Season 2 of Young Justice has its issues, but it's still some of the best DC animated content out there. We all know Season 1 of the show is perfect, and Season 2, with its problems, is still great, but it is undeniably the beginning of the show's downfall. If you haven't seen Season 2 or the show at all, then what? Why are you here? Go watch it, it's great. Then you can come back here. Now, let's take a look at what happened to Young Justice. In the finale of Season 1, Vandal Savage, who is the main bad guy of the show, has the Justice League under mind control for some evil purpose that we don't yet know. But the young heroes of Earth take on the League and are able to cure them of Vandal's control. However, in dealing with the League, they aren't able to defeat Vandal and he escapes. But even though the day is saved and the League are back, it seems that whatever purpose Vandal needed the League for, he may have accomplished. Because while the League were under his control, they were missing for 16 hours. So we end Season 1 with this mystery, what happened during the 16 hours, which is where we pick up with Season 2. And after that setup is quickly readdressed, we open with what seems to be the team on a mission. We see Superboy, Miss Martian, and Robin taking on Clayface. But when we get a look at Robin, he's obviously not Dick Grayson. Then a few new members show up. Beast Boy, Blue Beetle, and Bumblebee. Yeah, a whole lot of bees going on here. After the mission, this new team head back to Mount Justice, which we already know is the team's base of operations. But when we go into the Mount, we see Dick Grayson, who now goes by Nightwing and is 18 years old. Last time we saw Dick, he was 13. So this is where we find out that this season takes place 5 years after the first season. And the decision to put a 5-year time jump in between seasons is one of the biggest fumbles I've ever witnessed in all of television. I might be exaggerating just a tad, but you get the idea. You had pure comic book perfection in your hands with Season 1, and you just throw it away? So many good story opportunities and areas for character development that will never be seen. Alright, obviously the time jump was a big mistake, and it will always be such a disappointment to me. But once we can get past it, this season is actually pretty good. I don't think it ever quite lives up to the former season, but a lot of these stories and ideas are great. So before we get into the current stories and characters, let's quickly address where we left off with the previous team. By the end of Season 1, Robin learned what it takes to be a true leader, which sets up his journey as the team's leader this season. He was also starting to develop into his own hero, realizing that he no longer wants to become the Batman and carry on that legacy of darkness and tragedy, but that he needs to be something better. He still wants to be a hero, but he needs to be a hero with a light in the darkness. A hero that could potentially achieve things that the Batman never could. Aqualad left off with a newfound sense of purpose, now not being distracted or pulled adrift by former desires of what could have been, but now looking ahead to the future hero that he is destined to become. Kid Flash ended last season with a true understanding of what a hero is, having learned that sacrifice is the true essence of a hero, not fame or recognition. He also learned to let go of his grip on the world and his need for control over everything in his life, for the most part. Superboy found purpose, proving to himself and to Superman that he is more than the weapon that he was created to be. He has all of the potential for good as anyone else does, regardless of where he comes from. He found all of this because McGann first saw it in him. The Martian girl is the first person who he found a true human connection with. Miss Martian grew to accept who and what she was after struggling all her life with her insecurities. She finally felt accepted and loved, both in part to her friends and especially Superboy, who found a true connection with her after struggling for so long with human connection, which is kind of fitting considering that they're both aliens. Artemis ended last season with a newfound relationship with Wally, who she grew very close to throughout the course of the season. And she also grew into her own hero, overcoming her self-doubts and insecurities and rejecting the criminal path that her family had laid before her. During the last 2 episodes, Rocket and Zatanna both joined the team, and Red Arrow joined the Justice League. Then, Red Arrow found out that the mole that he had spent the majority of the season trying to uncover was actually himself. Because that Roy Harper, since 3 years before the first season took place, was actually a clone. And once he discovered that, he left the Justice League to go find and hopefully rescue the real Roy Harper. Okay, now it's time to address everything that happened during the time jump. So Dick Grayson acted as the team's leader for some time as Robin, but at some point he grew out of Batman's shadow and became his own hero, Nightwing, which leaves the mantle of Robin open, and Batman needs a Robin. So who was Robin after Dick? Jason Todd. But he's not the Robin in season 2. Yeah, he's dead. They went through Dick becoming Nightwing, Jason's time as Robin, and Tim Drake becoming Robin all off screen. And that's all we know. All we get of Jason Todd is a memorial hologram that's underground that we see for like 5 seconds.
You have got to be kidding me.
Whatever, rant over. Dick also takes over the role that Batman had in season 1, of calling the shots and giving out missions, which means that he's rarely active as a member of the team anymore. So he's kinda graduated, except he's not fully graduated because he's also not a member of the Justice League. So, spoiler alert, Nightwing gets sidelined for the majority of season 2. But you know who else gets sidelined? Kid Flash, because after season 1, he and Artemis' relationship got pretty serious. So much so that they gave up the hero life altogether. And that's all we really know about them during the time jump. Aqualad discovered that his biological father is Black Manta, which apparently Aquaman knew about and never told him. Also, Kalder's only love, Tula, died. And it seems that Tula may have been a member of the team at some point, but they don't explicitly say that. Anyway, it's said that both of these things happened to Kalder in a very short amount of time, which leads to him deserting the hero life and becoming the apprentice of his father, Black Manta. Not much happened with Superboy, apart from him strengthening his relationship with Superman, which is shown a little bit during this season. They have more of a brotherly relationship rather than father and son, which I think works really well. Also, he's a lot more like Superman now. He's still the same blunt, straightforward guy, but he's more open and caring now. And we'll see this in bits throughout the season, mainly when he's interacting with the newer members. Connor has also become very compassionate. So much so that he actually had to break things off with McGann. Apparently, at some point, McGann started to go down a dark path, using her psychic powers to rip intel from the minds of criminals and villains, leaving them in a catatonic state. And Superboy just couldn't agree with the abuse of her powers, so he had to let their relationship go. Just a little bit before season 2, Rocket and Zatanna both joined the Justice League. It's also implied that Zatanna had something of a relationship with Dick after season 1, but it doesn't seem like it went very far.
We have a history, dog.
Red Arrow spends the whole 5 years searching for the real Roy Harper, and he also had a daughter with Cheshire, Artemis' sister. However, he doesn't know about the kid until sometime in season 2. Alright, with the atrocious time jump out of the way, now we can talk about the new characters this season. Let's start with Beast Boy, Garfield Logan, who actually appeared in season 1, episode 21, before he got his powers. In the episode, he gets into an accident and receives a blood transfusion from Miss Martian, using her shapeshifting abilities to mimic his blood type. Later, during the time jump, he gets bit by a rare green species of monkey, which triggers his ability to shapeshift into animals. We later also find out that his mom died in a car crash during the time jump. And there's a really deep scene in episode 2 where Beast Boy sees a waterfall that triggers a traumatic episode, though McGann is there with him and tries to console him. McGann and Beast Boy have a really great bond with each other now, because after his mother's death, McGann is the only kind of family he has. Also, the human form that she chose to appear as is his mother. We also have Tim Drake as Robin now, and it seems that he's pretty new to the mantle. He has a lot to live up to. Dick Grayson had to deal with the pressure of Batman, but Tim is under the weight of Batman, Dick Grayson, Batgirl, and the death of Jason Todd. However, Tim has something Dick didn't have. Dick was alone in the shadow of the Batman, but Tim isn't. When he feels like he's not living up to what he should be, Dick is there to encourage him. But unfortunately, this story arc is barely hinted at and then abandoned. The main place we see this is in episode 1, which I really like what they're going for here. It mimics episode 1 of the first season. 3 young heroes who are overlooked by everyone else decide to go against orders to do good, to be more than sidekicks. Even the end of the episode is roughly the same. Once everything literally blows up, the Justice League and their team's mentors arrive from the sky. And as the young heroes sit and wait for the impending doom of a harsh talking to from their peers, Nightwing, who has been in the same exact position when he had to face the pushback of the Justice League, encourages them because he has faith in them. He was them. Lagoon Boy, or Lagan, is a mutated Atlantean who is M'gann's new boyfriend, and that's really all he ever is. He doesn't get much to do. He's really just here to further Superboy and M'gann's story, which is fine because he's not a very likable character, and he's not supposed to be, which actually allows for some pretty funny moments between him and other characters because he's such a douche. Unfortunately, most of the new characters don't really get much, especially Batgirl and Wonder Girl. I really don't have anything to say about them. They pop in to throw a few punches every now and then, but that's pretty much it. There's not really any previous lore mentioned or anything. I think Bumblebee gets a little more to do, but her struggling relationship subplot just isn't that interesting. And Mal is her boyfriend. He went to the same high school as Superboy and M'gann during the first season, and in this season, Mal is somehow a part of the team. He apparently has the position of ops manager, but in like one episode. Why is he here? He's just a guy. Not to say that I don't like the character, he's actually useful to a few different plots, but how did this random guy become a part of a covert ops team of young superheroes? Eventually he does become somewhat of a hero, taking up the mantle of Guardian. And he states that Black Canary has trained him some, so I guess he's not totally incompetent. Also, the episode where he becomes Guardian and puts his life on the line for the team is actually pretty good. Arsenal, who is the real Roy Harper, becomes a member later in this season. Red Arrow, who has been our Roy, went down a really rough path after finding out that he was a clone. Episode 8 is where we catch up with Clone Roy. He's disheveled and depressed, and his skills have declined along with his morality. But what would you do if you found out that your whole life wasn't yours? That every experience, every memory belongs or should belong to someone else? For simplicity's sake, I'm going to refer to Clone Roy as Red Arrow and Real Roy as, well, Roy. Red Arrow's journey to find the real Roy has taken a toll on him, because to Red Arrow, he's living someone else's life, and he's decided to do whatever it takes to give that life back to Roy. The people in his life try to bring him out of this dark mental state. After all, Red Arrow is the only Roy that Dick and Wally ever knew. He is their friend, but he doesn't listen to them. He has to find Roy. And with some help from his baby mama, he does. But when they eventually find him, Roy is alive, but his arm is gone. It's what Cadmus used for their cloning source. After Roy is rescued, he feels betrayed and forgotten by Green Arrow. Oliver didn't notice that his sidekick was replaced and wasn't really Roy. And he moved on to Artemis immediately after Red Arrow left. Even after Red Arrow found out about being a clone, Oliver didn't even help find Roy. He gave up, believing Roy to be dead. So this leaves Oliver feeling like a horrible mentor. And Roy ditches Red Arrow and Green Arrow to get revenge on the man that's responsible for him losing his arm in 8 years of his life. That man is Lex Luthor. However, despite Roy's remarkably skilled efforts to take him out, Lex coerces him into giving up his revenge in exchange for what he lost. When Oliver and Red Arrow find Roy, he has a new weaponized robot arm fresh from LexCorp. After receiving his gift from Lex, he joins the team as his own hero, Arsenal. Also, just a quick little side note, the original Guardian that was in Season 1 is also revealed to be a clone made from Roy's DNA, but he isn't really important at all. I saved Blue Beetle and Impulse for last because they are the standouts this season. I would say Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, is who the focus of this season is on. He starts off very lost and unsure. He didn't choose this life, he was thrown in the middle of it. There were already 2 other Blue Beetles before him, heroes that he never knew and they never knew him. All they left him is a curse of power and a reputation to live up to. Because most of the people that know of the Blue Beetle just assume that it's the same guy in a different costume. And although he's now responsible for all of this newfound power, he doesn't have control over it. The Scarab has its own intelligence with its own motives, which leaves Jaime in a battle that the former Blue Beetles never had to face. This is where Impulse comes in. Bart Allen is a speedster from the future. He traveled back to the past to prevent the future to come. In his time, there are no heroes. It's an apocalyptic future of nothing but despair. But he thought that if he could go back to the past and prevent the death of his grandfather Barry Allen, the Flash, then his time might be saved. But what does this have to do with Blue Beetle? Blue is the cause of the future's desolation. Jaime becomes a slave to his scarab, carrying out the will of the creators of his scarab, the Reach, and leaving the future a world without heroes. However, after Impulse saves Barry, his time machine breaks down, leaving him in our timeline. So after Nightwing determines that he is who he says he is, Bart joins the team where he becomes good friends with Jaime. And their friendship is really great. It reminds me a lot of Dick and Wally, which brings me to another issue. The new characters are so separated this season. There are no relationships established like the first. Apart from Bart and Jaime, these characters aren't friends, and the amount of interactions we get from the team is just so disappointing. So that's all of the new characters that join the team, except for one that will join at the end, but I'll get to that later. There are so many storylines going on this season, and most of them are really good, that just aren't very character driven. Which, how could you develop any of these characters? Season 1's team had 8 people by the end of it, if we're including Red Arrow. But the focus was really only on 6 characters. This season's team has all of those characters with the addition of 8 new characters by the end of it, which leads to the team having to be structured differently in order to be more efficient. Instead of there being one team that's sent out on a mission, there's now multiple teams sent on multiple missions, which makes sense because of how many characters there are now, but it makes the members of the team feel disconnected from each other in a way that the original team never did. Alright, where are the Justice League? Remember the whole what happened during the missing 16 hours thing? Well, the League find out very early on what happened. It's revealed that they committed crimes across the galaxy while being under the control of Vandal Savage, and they spend basically the whole season in a galactic court battle having to answer for those crimes. But only 6 Leaguers are being tried, with the addition of Icon as essentially their lawyer, and Hawkman, who's there to show his support as a good husband. With the core Leaguers away, other heroes have to fill their shoes. Like, Miss Martian and Superboy have to pretend to be Martian Manhunter and Superman to keep up the League's appearances. Because if villains are aware of the League's absence, then Earth becomes free reign for their villainous evil villainy and all that bad stuff. But my favorite of the heroes that have to step up is Captain Atom, who has to handle all of the League's social and political affairs. And all of his scenes are great, especially when the Reach get involved, because this Green Reach ambassador guy is such a prick, it's hilarious. What's going on with the Light this season? Well, for the most part, Calder is our guide for what's going on with them. Since Calder joined his father Black Manta, he's been climbing the ranks to get deeper into the Light and earn their trust. Later, Nightwing recruits Artemis for a mission, bringing her out of retirement, which upsets Wally, because he just wants to leave the hero life behind. And on this mission, they're confronted by Calder, which of course leads to a fight. And during their battle, Calder kills Artemis. This act of killing a former friend and hero in cold blood solidifies his spot with the Light. So now, the team have no more hope for him. The Calder they once knew is gone. That is, until the end of the episode, where it's revealed that Artemis isn't dead, and that Calder isn't actually evil. He has been a double agent for the team and the League to gain intel on the Light. But the only ones who know this are Dick, Wally, Artemis, and of course Calder. Nightwing devised a plan for Artemis to fake her death so that she could take on a new identity as a villain named Tigress, and go undercover to help Calder infiltrate the Light. However, Wally struggles with Dick's leadership. There are too many variables, too many risks, and the conflict between Dick and Wally is great. One of the best scenes in my opinion. Which, Wally is kinda right. Multiple things have to go wrong or end badly in order for Nightwing's plan to work. An island full of aliens gets blown up. The Mount of Justice gets blown up, and multiple members of the team are kidnapped. The last of which leading to a mission that ends horribly, which I'll get to in a bit. Also, during Wally and Dick's argument, Wally poses a question of what if Calder is actually playing Nightwing and the heroes? And it's a good question. Everything that happened to Calder did actually happen. He lost the love of his life and right after found out that Black Manta is actually his father. I really wish they had played up this mystery of if Calder is actually playing the heroes or the villains, but it's pretty clear that he's with the good guys the entire time. And this might be controversial, but I think Calder should have actually been evil. Before it's revealed that he's a double agent for the team, he's such a good bad guy. All I'm saying is, in a perfect world where the time jump never happened and we would have gotten to see these characters develop, I think it would have been so cool to see Calder slowly turn evil and eventually take the side of his father. It would have also given the team their own unique villain, who would have had an expansive previous history with the characters. I think it would have been great, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now, let's get back to the Light. Throughout this season, it's revealed that the Light have partnered with an unknown alien group, and this whole ordeal is structured as a season-long mystery that the team slowly uncover. When the team discover that the Light's partners are secret alien invaders called the Reach, Nightwing decides to expose them to the public. But before the team or the League can do anything, the Reach go public. And when they do, they seem to convince most of the world that they're just a peaceful race that has come to help Earth. Later, we find out that the Reach is the alien race that created Blue Beetle's Scarab. But Blue Scarab isn't the only one. There's a Scarab created for each planet, and the Scarabs don't belong to whoever they choose to bond with. They are meant to control the bonded, to use their bodies as a vessel for a weapon that is entirely under the control of the Reach. But the Scarab that bonded with Jaime is malfunctioned. His Scarab is a highly inhumane artificial intelligence, but the Reach have no control over it, so they have no control over Jaime. That is, until the Green Beetle comes in. In episode 12, a few of the newer members are sent out on a mission to receive intel on the Reach, who have partnered with Lex Luthor to basically solve world hunger through the Reach's specially enhanced food. And I really wish we would have got more episodes like this one, where the team are just sent on a regular secret ops mission. This is one of the only times where we actually get to see the new team members interact and learn to work together. And their dynamic is so fun. I just really wish this had been the focus. But anyway, Lex and the Reach knew that the team would probably come investigate their operation, so they prepared. After the team get what they're looking for, they try to leave. But as they do, Black Beetle, who is the Scarab possessor of the Reach, pops in and they can hardly put a scratch on the guy. So they make a plan of escape, but he easily catches up to them. And then a Green Beetle comes in, and he's actually helping the team against Black Beetle. Tim recognizes this new beetle's physiology and abilities, determining that he's a Martian and must be the Beetle of Mars. Then Green and Blue Beetle combine the power of their Scarabs to take out Black Beetle, just long enough for the team to escape. After they do and return to Nightwing, he makes Green Beetle go through multiple tests to determine if he's actually on their side, or if he's really with the Reach. During this period, Green Beetle claims that he used his shapeshifting abilities and got inside of his Scarab, overriding the Reach's control over it. When Jaime heard this, he immediately asked Green Beetle to do the same for his Scarab. At this point, Jaime is willing to do anything so that he doesn't become the Reach's weapon that is destined to doom the entire planet. So Green agrees to do it and wiggles his way around inside the Scarab and fixes it. But Green Beetle is being controlled by his Scarab and has been a pawn of the Reach from the beginning. This whole time, he's been trying to get close to Jaime so that he can fix the malfunction inside of the Scarab that keeps Jaime out of the Reach's control. And now, the Reach has exactly what they need. And the prophecy of the Blue Beetle becoming the world's end is now unfolding. One of the many plans of the Reach has been to kidnap young humans to experiment and learn more about something called the metagene. This gene is unknown to humans, and only some have it. This gene allows some people whose bodies are under extreme stress to adapt to their current circumstances, giving them superhuman abilities. And the Reach have kidnapped many, even members of the team, for their research. So the team devised a plan to rescue the captives. And in the process, M'gann faces off against Calder, who she believes to have murdered Artemis. Then, without hesitation, she brain blasts him, putting him in a catatonic state. But when she did, she saw into his mind, where she finds out that he's not actually evil and that Artemis is still alive. But it's too late. She already destroyed his mind, and instantly M'gann is paralyzed by her own guilt. She doesn't know what to do, but the team have to complete their mission. So Beast Boy, not knowing what happened, gets her to carry on, and the team are successful, rescuing their captured teammates and the civilians that were there. When Black Manta finds out what was done to his son, he has Miss Martian brought in to reverse what she did to Calder. And after she's captured, Lagoon Boy pressures Nightwing about his leadership. So Nightwing comes clean to him and Superboy about Calder and Artemis and the whole secret inside mission, which leads to them both being angry at Dick and questioning his leadership. But Dick still trusts his plan and knows that Calder and Artemis won't let anything happen to M'gann. And he's right. After she eventually restores Calder's mind, she's able to escape with the help of Artemis and return back to the team. The civilians that were captured earlier that I mentioned are also important. After the rescue, they were obligated to go to therapy so that the League and the team can get an idea of what the Reach did to them. And because Black Canary is a therapist and wants to help with any trauma they may be dealing with. It turns out that the Reach actually did activate these kids' metahuman powers. So they had to be put in Star Labs, where they're tested and studied. But obviously they don't want to be locked away for who knows how long, so after they get somewhat of a hold on their abilities, they escape. Also, Star Labs isn't evil or anything, these kids just want to go back to their regular lives. And one of these kids is Virgil Hawkins, who will later become Static and eventually join the team. During this time, Blue Beetle is quickly losing control over his actions. He takes on Volcano, who is a big threat in the first season. But in the process, Blue has no regard for the destruction that he's causing. He only cares about ending the threat, which is where the Metateens come in. They use their newfound abilities to help those who are in danger of Beetle and Volcano's battle. After he completely destroys Volcano, the press come in and they are loving the new Blue Beetle. And that's exactly what the Reach are using him for. They need a hero of the Reach for their publicity, to give the humans a new hero to look up to, and to make the other heroes seem untrustworthy. But this doesn't last very long. The people start seeing through the Reach as the truth about them slowly starts to be exposed, which turns out is exactly what the Light has planned for. Vandal Savage wants Earth to himself. He would never allow an alien race to come in and control what he believes to be his. Part of the Light's plan is for Lex Luthor to use the Reach's metahuman research and experiments for the Light. He even manipulates the metahuman teams to work for him, which unknowingly makes them a team for the Light. He sends them on a mission to save the team, who are imprisoned somewhere off-world. After they do so with the help of Arsenal, Nightwing actually kicks Arsenal off the team. So Roy joins the Metateens and they use a boom tube provided by Lex Luthor to go back to Earth. But when Arsenal realizes who the kids are taking orders from, he cuts Lex off. So now there's a teenage hero team with no authority, just doing whatever they want, I guess. Later, the Reach's new puppet Blue Beetle is flying around as he gets ambushed by Impulse and Batgirl, who are trying to get Jaime to come to his senses and gain control over himself again. But he wrecks them, and so the Reach force him to kill them both as there isn't anyone around to witness it. However, it was a setup. Rocket captures him in a bubble, and they take him off to an ancient tomb. Here, Zatanna uses the ancient runes to try to break Jaime free of the Reach's control, because these runes are what initially made the Scarab malfunction when it first came to Earth. Earth's magic is the only thing that can counter the Reach's technology. And as Zatanna is working her magic,
Oh, this guy's hilarious.
Green Beetle arrives to stop them, but the team are able to fight him off just long enough for her to cast the spell. When she does, the spell actually frees both Beetles from the Reach's control. Alright, the second to last episode is kind of like a season finale before the real season finale, because they just can't get enough of the switch-ups, which we see a lot in these final 2 episodes. It's just a never-ending game of Uno reverse cards.
I've already won.
We open with some of the major players of both the Light and the Reach meeting together to discuss their quarrels and issues with each other. During their meeting, it gets pretty confrontational, which obviously, they're all evil. Of course they aren't going to be buddies. And I love the villains getting in conflicts with each other. It's something that should happen a lot more than it does in most media. So while they're fighting, Ra's al Ghul notices the glamour charm on Artemis that has been concealing her true identity. And after Aqualad convinces them to settle down, Ra's just walks over and rips the charm straight off of Artemis, revealing her true identity, which by association also reveals that Aqualad didn't actually kill her, but recruited her. This leads to the Reach having an even stronger distrust of the Light, since all of this happened right underneath them. Then, Deathstroke shoots and kills Artemis and Calder. And as Calder is dying, he displays a holographic message that reveals the true intentions that the Light and the Reach have for each other. That the Reach have been using the Light as their naive tool for their conquest. And all of the ways that the Light have planned out and manipulated the Reach this whole time to achieve their goals. This completely destroys any resemblance of an alliance between them. Then, Calder and Artemis stand up, and Deathstroke reveals himself to actually be Miss Martian. So now, it's every villain for themselves. Then, the rest of the team pull up, surrounding the place. But guess what? The Light always has contingencies. So, the League of Assassins drop down, surrounding the heroes. But wait, the team were already prepared for that. So then, some of the assassins reveal themselves to be other members of the team. Now, it's just an all-out brawl between the heroes, the Light, and the Reach. Then, Vandal whips out a ring that was apparently containing Clarion the Witch Boy, who pops out and creates a portal for Vandal to just leave. During the battle, Black Beetle escapes. Ra's al Ghul dies and his servant escapes with him, where he'll obviously be resurrected, while Black Manta, the Brain, and the Reach Ambassador guy are all defeated. After everything is done and Calder is back with the team, Nightwing gives leadership back to Calder. And now that there's evidence of the Reach's secret invasion, the Reach are to be exiled from Earth. Real quick, I want to bring up another small nitpick. On top of having a lot of characters in general, there are also a lot of villains throughout this season. As you may have noticed, Deathstroke was just taken out off screen, so he could be replaced with Miss Martian. And to me, that just isn't doing his character justice. Characters like Deathstroke and Lex Luthor could be really good season-long villains, but at times, they feel severely reduced down due to the overarching story that has to unfold. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm just being too nitpicky. And now, the season finale. During everything that happened last episode, the team were able to record the confessions of the Light about how they were in full control of the League's actions while they committed crimes across the galaxy. So Miss Martian and Superboy go to the galactic trial and submit the evidence which eventually fully exonerates the League. But while all of this was transpiring, after the Reach's invasion of Earth didn't plan out, Black Beetle doesn't want the Reach's plan to conquer the galaxy to be known to the rest of the galaxy. So he decides to destroy the evidence of their secret invasion of Earth by destroying Earth. Solid plan. But after he escaped last episode, obviously the team have to go after him. So Aqualad, Blue Beetle, and Green Beetle show up on his ship to take him out. During their battle, Green Beetle tries to link his scarab with Black Beetle's to free him of the Reach's control. But Black Beetle is the scarab wielder of the Reach. He wants the Reach to conquer the galaxy. So he reverses the link, infecting Green's scarab and destroying it, which would kill Green if he weren't a Martian. And since it worked on him, Black Beetle tries to do the same to Blue. But by this point, Jaime has bonded so well with his scarab that he can overpower Black and reverse the link on Black Beetle, which then destroys Black's scarab, and thus defeating him. However, when Jaime linked with him, he saw Black Beetle's plans to destroy Earth, and it has already been set in motion. The Reach have placed devices made from their own technology that will disrupt the Earth's magnetic field all around the world. However, because the Light already planned on betraying the Reach, Lex Luthor already developed an antivirus for the Reach tech. So the team and all of the Leaguers on Earth work together with Lex to disable all of the Reach's devices around the planet, which they do, and in just the right time, except one. A device went untraced and it already started its process before anyone got to it in time for Lex's antivirus to work. So Lex gives orders to Flash and Impulse to use their speed to run counter to the field, which should siphon off the power that's been generated. But it's not enough, and as soon as Wally hears about this, with no hesitation, he speeds over there to hopefully add on enough counteractive energy to stop the device. But Wally isn't as fast as them, which he's well aware of. And since he's lagging behind, the majority of the energy that they're siphoning is going straight to Wally. But it's working. The energy is dissipating. So Wally, knowing what's about to happen, asks Barry a favor. He asks him to tell his family and to tell Artemis something. But then, as one last gust of energy disperses, Wally fades away, gone, with nothing left. Unlike most heroes, Wally didn't become a hero by chance. He chose to be a hero, even if half of it was for the wrong reasons. He did want to save and help people, but he also wanted the recognition, the thrill of being a hero. But Wally's biggest struggle has always been his excessive need for control over everything in his life. However, throughout Season 1, there are multiple moments where he has to lose his own desires and learn to let go of his control in order to do the right thing. Because when it matters most, Wally will always do the right thing. By the end of Season 1, he learns the true meaning of the life he chose. He learns the sacrifice of being a hero. So after some time of being a hero and being in a relationship with Artemis, he decides that this life of a hero is no longer what he wants. He has everything that he wants in Artemis. So during Season 2, when other heroes try to bring him or Artemis back, he pushes against it. He doesn't want to let go of his new life with Artemis. But when it matters most, Wally will always do the right thing. So when the world needed a hero, Wally was there. He gave up his control, sacrificed everything he wanted, he had, and truly became the hero that he once chose to be. I love Wally's character, and I really wish we could have gotten more of him this season, especially since they decided to kill him off. But he's a speedster, it's comic books, and he just faded away. He'll definitely come back, right? As the team arrive at the side of the device, the energy vapors disappear. The day is saved. But Artemis instantly feels a void. Someone is missing. She frantically asks, "Where's Wally?" Even though deep down she already knows the answer. So Barry tells her Wally's last words. Even though Wally didn't get to say them, Barry knows what they were. He tells her that Wally wanted her to know that he loved her. Then the Justice League arrive at the ruins of Mount Justice. If you remember, it blew up. And they question, are we too late? But then the team arrive from the sky, giving the League a sense of relief. The day is saved, but not without a cost. The ending setup is really solid and leaves us with some intriguing ideas for what the next season could contain. Aqualad is now officially the head of the team, as Nightwing says he needs a break from it all. He says he's taking a leave of absence. And after Bloodhaven was established this season, this puts Nightwing in the perfect spot to have some time to be his own hero, away from Batman and the team. After M'gann realized the effects of abusing her powers, it hit her deep. So she stopped and decided to never use them like that again. And since that was the main reason for Superboy breaking up with her, here at the end they do get back together.
Neptune's beer!
Before Wally died, he offered the mantle of Kid Flash to Bart Allen Impulse. So now, after his death, Bart accepts the mantle. But it doesn't feel right. He feels like he's in the wrong shoes. Then Artemis steps in and reassures him, solidifying him as the new Kid Flash. And she also has a new-ish mantle. Feeling like she can't be Artemis without Wally, she suits back up as Tigress, this time as a hero. And now, after the team saved the Earth from an alien invasion and were able to help exonerate the Justice League, the League have seen just how capable the team really is. So Batman grants them to work alongside the League in the Watchtower. Still as a covert team though. Then, right before the credits, we see good old Vandal Savage arriving at Apocalypse, where we then see him shaking hands with none other than dark side. Season 2 has its issues, with an overstuffed roster that leads to underdeveloped characters and an at times convoluted overarching story. But it's still great. It never quite lives up to Season 1, but it's the closest thing we've got. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like so more people can see it. I will immediately start working on Season 3's video as soon as this one is posted, so if you want to catch that one as soon as it comes out, please subscribe with the bell. It would really mean a lot. And with all of that being said, thank you for watching, and
See you, chump.